Welcome back to the Yoga Challenge. It's day 17 out of 30. And this is actually one of my favorite little parts of the yoga series, is that as we've been going on through this yoga series, things get a little bit more difficult. And that tends to be on the days where we have a practice that's about increasing strength. And we've been focusing on different areas of the body. For day 17, our practice is going to be focused on the chest. And just as a little bit of a cautionary tale, don't forget, you can always go back and use some of those earlier strength training practices. Day 17 doesn't need to be your only practice for the day. Use those other practices in order to continue working on those areas of your body. The reason why I say this is because we're going to increase the difficulty today, make it a little bit more of a strenuous yoga practice. And keep in mind that we're going to continue upping the ante as we move towards developing core strength as well. I'm really excited to get started with day 17 using yoga to increase strength in your chest. Enjoy our practice. Let's go ahead and begin this practice on all fours. Now, coming into a tabletop posture, it's really important that we do this purposefully and that you set yourself up for a strong base for success in this practice. Stack the shoulders over top of the wrists. You want your fingers spread wide and planted down into the mat. Stacking your hips over top of the knees. We're going to be here for a while. If you're on a hard surface floor, you might want to try a yoga mat, or you might want to try a folded up towel or blanket underneath the knees to protect you. Even if you're on a yoga mat, it might still just be too hard on your knees. Remember, we're going for a sustainable model here, so why don't you go ahead and take the time to take care of you properly in this practice. I'm sure you're worth the investment. With the tops of the feet placed down onto the mat, you don't want your feet turned in too much or splayed out, so go ahead and line your feet up. Again, making sure that you're aligned with a nice flat spine, and just checking out your hands, checking out the knees, checking out the posture. Let's take a few breaths here to just be in this tabletop posture. Feeling the stability of having your knees and hands flat on the ground. Also, just being thankful for the feet, noticing that the feet even play a role in this posture, even though they're passive and just pressing down into the ground. Beginning just with the hips, we're going to turn the pelvis in, lowering through the belly, dropping the belly down, and then finally lifting the head up on an inhale into our cow pose. And keeping the head and the spine exactly where it is, begin by tilting the pelvis in, then following through the spine, lifting up through the spine, and last dropping the head, coming into your cat pose. Check in with your hands, spreading through the fingers to protect the wrists. On your next exhale, starting just with the pelvis, following through the spine, dropping down, lowering the belly, let the belly hang low. Finally, lifting through the head, the gaze comes forward into our cow pose. Take 2 more rounds of this on your own, moving with your breath. Come back to a flat, neutral spine. Again, shoulders stacked over top of wrists, hips over top of knees, spreading wide through the fingers. And let's begin by just peeling the right arm off the mat and reaching the arm forward. Maybe bringing your gaze past the right fingers. And see if you can stay strong through your core as your weight shifts into the left arm. And if it's accessible to you, with your right arm reaching forward, experiment with floating your left knee up and off the mat. And if you can do that, maybe even pressing through the left heel, pushing back. All right, coming back, placing the hand and the knee back on the mat, pressing yourself back into a child's pose. Bringing the buttocks down towards the heels, reaching the hands forward, dropping the head. If the head comes in contact with the floor, that's great. Maybe you can rest here. You may wish to also draw the arms back, parallel to the body. Maybe ball up your fists, rotate through the wrists a little. If you hear some cracks and pops, that's totally normal. It's a part of the practice. Having a sip of oxygen here. Let's bring your hands back forward, reaching forward, spreading through your fingers. Beginning to peel the body up, off the thighs, coming back into your tabletop posture. Shoulders over wrists, fingers spread wide, hips over knees, tops of feet flat on the ground. Inhale to reach the left hand forward. Finding some stability in this posture. And with the left hand reaching forward, reaching through the fingers, feeling the weight shift into the right arm, making sure your fingers are spread. If it's accessible to you, floating the right knee, peeling it up off the mat, off the floor, pressing through your right heel. Go ahead, allow yourself to have a breath here as you bring your gaze forward past the left fingers. Noticing how your breath changes in your body. And when you're ready, gently come back down, placing the left hand on the mat, right knee back on the mat or on the ground, and push back into another child's pose, taking a moment to rest here. And if you find that you need to adjust your child's pose at all, widening through the knees to make it more accessible to you, that's fine. Maybe your child's pose, it's difficult for you to really press through your sit bones and to come into a resting posture. And so the best that you can do is to just sort of lay the trunk of your body kind of over your knees, over your legs, and allow your arms to go heavy and your head to go heavy to just find a moment to rest here. Whatever works for your body in this pose is perfectly ideal. It's what's perfect for this moment. All right, inhale to reach those hands forward, spread through the fingers, beginning to peel the body up, shifting the body weight forward, coming back into your tabletop position here. Let's play one more round with experimenting with our balance and arm strength. Let's go ahead and lift the right arm off the mat, reaching the right arm forward, spreading through the fingers. If it's accessible to you, just hovering the left knee off the mat, maybe pressing through the left heel. And see if you can find some stability here. And you might be thinking like, what do you mean stability, Tim? My right arm and my left leg are not on the ground. I'm balancing on one arm and one leg. This is not stable. Just see if you can find some length through the spine, find some length through the arm. See if there's a place where you can balance here. And bending at the right elbow and the left knee, bring them together underneath the body. Maybe the right elbow touches the left knee, maybe not. And then inhale, reach all the way back forward. Exhale to just pause here, just be in this moment. Inhale to reach. Exhale to bend at the elbow and the knee. Maybe they touch underneath the body. Inhale to reach all the way back forward. Exhale, hand comes back down onto the mat. Left knee comes back down onto the ground. Press back into a child's pose. Again, maybe balling the fingers, rotating through the wrists. Allow yourself a moment to breathe. Feel your breath moving in your body. When it's workable for you, inhale, reach those hands forward. Spread through the fingers, come back to your tabletop posture. Stacking shoulders over wrists, fingers spread wide, hips over knees. reaching that left hand forward. With an inhale, look forward past the left fingers, reaching. Begin to peel the right knee off the mat, pressing back through the right heel. Find some length through the spine. And if you need a chair or a wall for balance, that is okay. Staying spread through those right fingers to protect the wrist. See if you can find some strength in this posture. Inhale to reach a little further. Exhale to bend at the left elbow and right knee. They come close together. Maybe they touch underneath your body. Inhale, reach all the way back forward. And exhale to just be here, soften in this posture. Inhale to reach forward a little more. Exhale to bend at the elbow, bend at the knee. Maybe they touch under the body. Inhale to reach all the way back forward. Exhale, come back down onto the mat. Press back down into your child's pose. Yeah, reach those hands forward, maybe balling the fingers, making fists, rotating through the wrists. Maybe the arms come parallel to the body. Have a breath here on purpose. We'll come back onto our backs now. With the knees bent and the feet flat on the floor, you're going to want to remove any blankets or towels that are supporting your body. Go ahead and find yourself with your palms facing down. And just stepping the feet back ever so slightly so that the feet are only a hip's width apart and the feet don't need to be pressing right up against the buttocks, but you want to step the feet in ever so slightly. With the knees bent, laying flat on your back, let's go ahead and check in with our neck, make sure that we're protecting the neck here. So you may want to just lift your head up, lengthen through your neck, then place the head back down. With the palms flat down on the ground, beginning with the pelvis, I'm going to invite you to inhale and begin to lift the body up off the ground, putting weight into your heels. And lifting slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take the full length of your inhale and your exhale. Once you reach the top of this posture with your body off the mat, notice if there's a place where you go a little too far and you start putting pressure on your neck. If you get there, take some of the pressure off. Come back down a little. Taking a full breath here. On your next exhale, come down slowly, dropping vertebrae by vertebrae. Remembering that yoga isn't about simply achieving a posture, it's about the journey of working through the postures, connecting your breath with your movement, and being mindful, being present of how that moves in your body. One more time. Let's engage in this little bit of a back bend here. Pressing into the heels to inhale, lifting the pelvis off the ground, and slow, vertebrae by vertebrae, take the full length of your inhale to lift off of the ground. If it's accessible to you, you may wish to inch the elbows in underneath the body, maybe even interlacing the fingers, pressing down through the forearms and elbows. And notice if that helps give you a little bit more stability or strength to lift through the posture. Or notice if it's an invitation for your mind to be like, yeah, I can really crank myself in here. Just pause and notice what your mind does with this adjustment of playing around with your arms under your body. Breathing here, wiggle the toes. Being thankful for our toes. Wiggle the fingers. On your next exhale, if your fingers are interlaced under your body, moving the hands out from under the body, dropping down, vertebrae by vertebrae, till you come flat down onto the mat. You may wish to extend your feet out into a final relaxation pose of Shavasana, or you may wish to come up seated. We're going to step into a plank so that the body is parallel to the ground with the spine nice and flat. Shoulders stacked over top of your wrists, just like when we're in all fours in our table pose, but staying up on your toes. Now this might not be sustainable. So even if you're a super fit person and you have a very strong core and you can maintain a plank for a long time, I still want you to drop down onto your knees. So bend at the knees, drop the knees down. And notice how this is different, how it feels different than being up on your toes in plank. Whatever is accessible for you. If you can only maintain plank on your toes for a few seconds before you drop down to your knees, or if you go directly down onto your knees, or if you maintain plank up on your toes. I'd like to invite you to find a posture here, whether on your knees or on your toes, that works for you as we breathe together for 5 breaths. Taking the full inhale and exhale as 1, a second inhale and exhale as 2, a third inhale to maybe press through the crown of the head, see if you can keep your spine long, a fourth inhale to soften through the shoulders, allow yourself to find some strength in this posture, noticing where you're feeling any burning sensations, any heat in your body, and on a fifth inhale, fifth exhale, go ahead and bring a deep bend to the knees, press back into a child's pose. You just did 5 breaths of a plank posture. That's pretty cool. Go ahead and take a rest here. So I'm going to invite you to bring your hands forward, spread through the fingers, maybe coming up onto all fours, stacking the hips over the knees, shoulders over wrists, spreading wide through the fingers. And I'm going to invite you to press back through your feet, coming onto the tips of your toes into your plank posture. Or alternatively, if you can only maintain this for a few seconds, maybe dropping down to your knees. And now here, whether you're on your knees or on your tippy toes, inhale to bring the gaze forward. And exhale, with your arms exactly where they are, begin to hinge at the elbows, lowering your body towards the ground. And using your hands almost like you're pushing the chest away into a bit of a push-up, keeping the elbows tucked in tight into the body as you lower down, coming all the way flat onto the ground. Extending through the legs, keeping your arms exactly where they are. We'll bring in a little bit of a bend here. So with your body down flat on the ground, your hands at the sides of your body, underneath your shoulders, fingers spread. Maybe inhale to lift the head forward, looking forward. Tops of the feet are down flat on the ground. Exhale, place the right cheek down on the mat or down on the ground. Resting here. Noticing what it feels like to be in your body in this posture. Pressing the hands into the mat. Tops of the feet still down flat on the ground. Lifting the gaze. Lifting the upper body ever so slightly, looking forward, tops of the feet still on the ground. The legs are nice and long. We're just lifting the upper body here, getting a little bit of a bend through the spine. Exhale this time, touch the left cheek down onto the ground as you soften and just relax here in this posture. Again, noticing what it feels like to be here in this pose, in this moment. And coming out of this posture, let's come to standing. As we exhale, let's bring your hands down onto the ground, spreading wide through the fingers. We really want to protect the wrists here. Pressing the hands down into the ground. With the fingers spread wide, let's bend nice and deep through the knees so you can get your hands planted flat onto the ground. And gently beginning to step the feet back, maybe tiptoeing, or maybe taking slightly larger steps, but don't go too far. Stepping the feet back so that your feet are planted on the ground and your heels don't need to be touching the ground, but we also don't want you up on your tippy toes. So the balls of your feet here are planted into the ground. Your toes are on the ground as you step back, but your heels don't necessarily need to be touching the ground. The hands are planted both on the ground, fingers spread to protect your wrists, and still with a nice deep bend in the knees here. Maybe pedal through your heels. Maybe bending through alternate knees, really exaggerating that bend, wagging the hips back and forth. Even experimenting here with the musculature of your arms, maybe even rolling the arms so that the eyes of the elbows face out and then experimenting with how it affects your shoulders when you roll the arms back in. But we don't need to have a static downward dog here. We're just experimenting with down dog, bringing some motion into your body. Breathing here, slowing your downward facing dog down, noticing what it's like to be in this posture. When it's comfortable for you, you may wish to come back up to standing. And on your next inhale, let's go ahead and reach our arms up. Breathing in as you lift, lifting the gaze. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart center. And really breathe through the nose. Let your breath move in an audible way. Inhale, breathe in all the way. Lifting the gaze. Exhale, bring your hands back down to your heart center. Repeat this 3 more times on your own. Breathing in to reach up. Exhale. The hands come down to heart center. Pausing here, allowing your vision to be fixed just over top of you, the tops of your fingers. Maybe your vision goes out of focus. Without closing your eyes all the way, you may wish to allow your eyes to flutter shut, but only close to the point where you can still let a little bit of light in. There's still a little bit of sensory experience of light there. Inhale to press through the crown of the head, falling that height through the spine. Exhale, tuck the chin. Feel the palms pressing together. Feel places where you feel warmth in the body or other sensations. Thank you for your time and commitment in doing this practice. I'm going to bring my hands to heart center. Bowing, bringing my thumbs between the eyebrows, the third eye, so to speak, and share this final word with you. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice. I'd like to finish by saying thank you so much for sharing your energy with me on this practice today, being a part of this yoga challenge. Don't forget to hit the like button. It's super reinforcing to me, makes me want to make more of these videos. Hit subscribe and the bell icon to keep updated on these videos so that you don't miss any of them. And definitely share this with people in your world, because you never know who's going to benefit from this 30-day yoga challenge. Thank you so much. Namaste.